This week featured a government restart and new mortgage ideas. I'm Danielle Hale, Chief Economist at Realtor.com. Let's walk through what the data and headlines mean for home buyers, sellers, and the housing market more broadly. The federal government shutdown has officially ended. As federal workers and agencies begin to work through backlogs, we'll see a smaller impact on home sales in November than in October, but it won't be zero. One important note amid reopening is that the current deal is only temporary for most agencies. This means that new funding agreements must be reached by January 30th, 2026 to avoid another shutdown. Fortunately, Veterans Affairs and Agriculture were among the fully funded divisions of government. In other words, a January funding impasse will not disrupt VA and USDA lending in the new year. This is important for housing. Veterans Day research highlights how helpful VA lending is for military service members and veterans aiming to achieve the American dream. Realtor.com analysis found that the 0% down payment benefit enables homeownership more than 4 years sooner. Yet amazingly, more than 2/3 of veterans still don't know about this key benefit that they have earned. Looking at the broader market, mortgage rates were roughly unchanged this week, rising just 2 basis points. We could see bigger swings ahead as investors react to the backlog of government data that will eventually trickle out. But I don't expect we'll be fully caught up before the December Fed meeting in less than a month, which will be an added source of volatility. As of this taping, a revised release schedule has not yet been published. Turning to weekly trends in housing data, inventory continued to grow, extending beyond a 2-year stretch, even as the growth rate moderated further. New listing activity has seesawed recently, making it harder to gauge seller interest in today's housing market. Buyers, however, can celebrate softer prices relative to a year ago and have more time to make decisions, in line with what we've seen in other recent weeks. Despite softer asking prices, the lack of housing affordability remains a chief concern at the very highest level. This week saw 2 proposed solutions, a 50-year mortgage and mortgage portability, as the president and his administration are obviously exploring ways to bring the cost of housing within reach. At a high level, the 50-year mortgage lowers monthly payments for homebuyers, bringing down the cost of buying. But this choice has trade-offs. Buyers would take longer to accrue significant equity, they would pay more in interest over the life of the loan, and a 50-year mortgage would likely have a higher rate, mitigating some of the monthly savings calculated relative to a 30-year loan. Mortgage portability is designed to mitigate the mortgage rate lock we're seeing among many existing homeowners, who may not want to trade their 3% mortgage rate for today's 6+% rate. Instead of getting a new loan when you sell and buy a new home, in mortgage portability, you just take your existing mortgage and its low rate with you. Research shows that the lock-in effect hampers mobility in home sales, but it's far from the only thing holding back movers. So it could help some shoppers, but is it feasible? Mortgage portability would require significant changes to the mortgage securities pipeline, the process by which investors funnel money to homebuyers via lenders. And widely renegotiating contracts may not be possible for the group most likely to benefit from portability, today's locked-in homeowners. A better approach to the challenge of housing affordability would be making it easier to build homes in the areas where people want to live. To wrap up on a lighter note, Realtor.com recently studied listing descriptions to find the hottest home trends in 2025. Efficient, resilient, and self-sustaining features were among the fastest growing this year. You can find all the details, including full reports in our housing data for download at Realtor.com/research. You can also follow us on X, formerly Twitter, for real-time updates and Instagram for graphics.